I recently spent some time on campus at University of Maryland, the school I graduated from, and it was like a walk down memory lane. Well, let's have ourselves a pocket-sized pep talk because a short walk made me think about those first few days on campus, and not one, but two simple lessons. I'll tell you both of them.
A pocket-sized pep talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
I'll never forget my first few weeks on the campus of the University of Maryland. Like most freshmen, I was both excited and overwhelmed. The very size of the university was intimidating, and with a wide variety of required freshman classes, it was extremely challenging to find my way around the campus. I remember thinking to myself, how in the world can anyone find their way around this place? I wasn't sure I'd be able to find my classes, so before classes had actually begun, I spent time figuring out where my classes would be held and a route from one class to the next one. I went from the high-rise dorm I was living in, across campus to the hill, from there to the mall, from there to my dorm. It appeared to be an endless maze, and the task of actually learning my route and location seemed nearly impossible. I was in awe of those who seemed to know their way around, and when lost, I was grateful to those who politely pointed me in the right direction in an empathetic and simple manner. Then a funny thing happened. Within a few weeks, what felt impossible seemed more than probable. I no longer laid awake at night worrying about whether I'd find my lecture halls, and I began to accept my rather shaky command of my surroundings. A week after that, I became downright confident. I never forgot, however, how tough that darn campus was to navigate, and I tried to emulate those who had been polite and helpful to me when someone asked me for directions. To this day, particularly when people ask for clarification on the techniques and processes I teach, I try to be patient. I also try to keep it simple. Sometimes I'm more patient than other times. And that's often because I can't figure out why something can be so difficult for someone to understand when it seems so simple to me. Until I remember those first few days on campus. I remind you of this story because this particular scenario plays out over and over again throughout our lives. First few days on a job or learning a new task or process can be overwhelming, but often there are a few kind souls who patiently bring you up to speed. I'd like to think that the reason they can be so helpful is because they stayed in touch with the confusion he or she may have felt when they were in your shoes. There are two lessons in play here. The first is rather obvious, and it's a lesson in empathy. If you're looking for a reminder on empathy, often you don't have to look further than your own past. Think back to a time when you were confused about something, and there were those who quietly mentored you in that area. The mentors rarely perform those tasks with much fanfare, so you'll have to spend a moment to retrieve the memories of those teachers. The second lesson is to remember that regardless of how well you mastered a difficult task, everyone starts as a beginner and feels a level of vulnerability. We've all heard the acronym KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I'm not a fan of calling people stupid, so I like the kinder, gentler KISK, keep it simple, Knucklehead. Both lessons lead to the same conclusion. Stay in touch with those memories of the times when you were lost or confused. And if you're having trouble recalling one, feel free to borrow mine. Remember, those moments will allow you to do something very important. Walk in another person's shoes.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.